I wanted to go over this video here because I feel like this video has a lot of truth to it. I think that dating nowadays is it's a very complicated thing. It's not easy. I remember back in the late 2000s, like 2007, 2008, there was a time where I would get a phone number from a girl that I was interested in, and or through a friend. I'll meet her through a mutual friend, and then there was attraction at some point, one time, we would build to that, but we didn't get there by even sending just messages, although it was sort of the beginning of the texting era where people started just to send text messages because it was easier to communicate, I guess. The problem with this generation is that communication is failing only because you have a phone, an email, Facebook, Instagram, all these social media platforms doesn't make you a good communicator. And part of the reason why tons of men are no longer seeking formal engagement with women is partially, or have the majority of this to do with that there's no reciprocation and it's lacking. Sure, you know, there's a tons of ways that I can talk about this, but I'm going to quote this video because it's true. And I'm going to give you an example of what happened with me and what's going on in my situation.
Ever like start dating somebody and you're texting and they text back immediately and then you text back immediately and then they text back 4 hours later and then you text back immediately and then they text back 4 hours later. I don't.
That happens now. This is what's happening now. I feel like people are becoming so desensitized to just basic human interaction. And I see this a lot from women. This is not, it's not okay. And it's the same people, a percentage of these people that go on these platforms and they're 30 years old or 33 or 40, whatever, and they complain about being single. And these are beautiful women out there crying and complaining when I know in my heart there's dudes out there who are trying or will have tried to engage in either cold approach communication or any form through DM or through a dating app. And you probably left the guy on red. You you probably didn't follow up. He probably didn't engage with you because men pursue women. It's our nature to begin the engagement of pursuing. We're designed, you know, biologically by God to pursue women so that we can replicate life. Survival and replication is the reason why we exist, right? So, but when women start leaving men on red, show no interest, say something, they don't put up with it, they don't keep what they say, they start to play these games. And it's because social media has created this false reality, this false sense of I can have any guy that I want. And in most cases, it's toxic. In all cases, it's toxic because now we're back in a cycle that the behavior just repeats itself and it's never ending. You enter this quantum loop of toxic relationship behavior and you're constantly validating yourself through social media use, and it's dangerous. Like, this is not even funny at this point. Men no longer feel safe approaching women. They choose not to because personally myself, I've gotten some numbers through cold approach. And the conversations lasted maybe about 7 minutes, 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes at the minimum, depends on what I was doing at the moment. And the majority of the time, no response. They just decide to give phone numbers for the sake of getting you out of their way and going on with their day. And then they turn 30 years old and then complain because the guy that they wanted, the one that they pedestal because obviously he's the dominant, doesn't give a shit, bad boy, which that is in their program to kind of follow that instinct and kind of pursue that. But then they end up 40 and alone, and then they have with all these cats because of the choices that were made. Every action has an equal or opposite reaction. Your thoughts right now, at some point in time, will manifest. So if the behavior continues, if you keep recycling this behavior, reciprocating the behavior, thinking to yourself that you'd rather party in your early 20s and then maybe you'll settle down by 27, 28, 29, it will backfire on you. The reality of this is a really, really hard time, and guys are not going to be approaching women as much. There will come a time, and mark my words, there will come a time where women, if they want to have a family, they want to have kids, they're going to have to start talking to the men. They're going to have to seek men because it's just gotten so toxic, so bad that the average guy now has to talk to like 30 or 40 or 50 girls and narrow down the sample size to maybe 2 or 3 dates. It wasn't like this back in the day. The 1900s, the 50s, the 60s, you met maybe one or two guys, you were attracted to Brad or Jimmy or whatever, or Tommy, and you talked to maybe two of them, and then you decided who you want to date and who you're going to marry. Well, the guys decide who they marry. But see, it was easier then. Now we have these phones, we have unlimited access to the internet, and we think we have unlimited options. It's not like that. It's just getting real bad. And men are just like, I'm done. They're getting frustrated with cold approaching because obviously they get a number, they don't get a response. I've been there. They go on a first date, they maybe have a good time. Now, on Reddit, when I go read some of these stories, men no longer go on dates expecting anything. And you should never go on dates expecting anything, right? But most men never see the woman again. Ghost. Just straight up ghost. And this is just becoming a toxic nature, and it's not good. It's going to lead extensively to the downfall of society. We're no longer going to reproduce in the same way that we were doing, and it's going to be a very, very harsh future if we keep doing this sick behavior. If your intentions are not to be in a relationship, then you shouldn't be dating, right? It's just what it is. But if you're not interested, don't give out your number. It's just what it is. Women are doing it. This is toxic. Just say, hey, I'm not interested. You don't have to get all, and this is what's happening. It's pretty bad.
I don't know why our current generation thinks that that's like an acceptable way to communicate. It's not. If you're interested in somebody and you're busy, you tell them you're busy. Then you have the expectation that they're not going to be responsive. You could lie and say, hey, I'm really busy today if you don't feel like texting. That's cool. But don't text me back, have a conversation, and halfway through the conversation disappear. If somebody is making time for you in their life, don't put yourself on a pedestal and think that you're better than them and your time's more valuable, because the odds are it's not.
Facts. Straight facts. I had to make a video on this. And men, you're not alone. There's tons and millions of guys going through this right now, literally with 5 or 6 different contacts that can't even get a solid, stable, committed relationship, pondering in the depths of life on the ethereum of trying to understand. And they're always constantly blaming themselves. They're constantly trying to better themselves, going to the gym, trying to make more money, trying to get a better place, trying to get a better car, trying to speak better. Dude, these guys are putting in the work. Some of them are, at least a percentage of them are, and getting the same results. There's billionaires right now getting cheated on, getting divorced, millionaires getting divorced. This is terrible. This is not linear, it's extremely all over the place. And this is going to be the downfall of humanity if we keep up the behavior. Peace out.